Listen, I've never had any problem expressing my opinions, but what we're doing here is bigger than that. These are conversations that need to be had in an unfiltered way. Drag racing's all I've ever done. It's all I care to do. I respect the history, I appreciate how far we've come, but I want more for this sport, and I'll fight for it. It's uncut, it's unfiltered. This is the show of shows. The biggest names in drag racing. No holds barred. This is the great American motorsport. Drag racing. Prove me wrong. I'll wait. Hey gang, Wes Buck here, Drag Illustrated Magazine, checking in. It is Wednesday, July 1st, 2026. Hope you're doing well out there. Remember, smash that subscribe button, smash that share button. Help us spread the gospel of drag racing. Boys, we got a hell of a show for you guys today. In just a few short minutes, we're going to be joined by the one and only Ron Capps, Maddi Gordon. Then after the break, we'll go into a conversation with Pro Mod superstars Peter Norton and Paige Coughlin. We got so much to cover. We got some special guests in the green room right now. They're going to talk shop about an upcoming event that we're super excited about here at Drag Illustrated. Tons of stuff to cover. My gosh, it's been an interesting week in the world of drag racing. I barely know where to begin, but I know that we've got to start with introducing my co-host here on the Wes Buck Show. What's going on, JT? Mike, what's you guys staying out of trouble? I think we got and Poland's in the house already.
Man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Poland.
Hola.
Poland.
Had to bring in the big guns.
Yeah, I never know who's going to be on the screen when JT throws the switch. So it's
Man, it's been a while.
Build up to Poland.
He likes to wait till we're like picking our
JT doing JT things.
Yeah.
100%. Well, what's up, boys? We all doing well?
Yeah, man.
Enjoying the week.
Yeah, man. It's been an interesting one. I think we've got to.
You think?
I don't even know what. Yeah, you think? There's a lot to cover. But let's just get right into this deal because Poland. One of the things that you and I have been talking about a ton lately is this Freedom of War event coming up this weekend at West Texas Abilene Raceway. 150,000 to win, no prep race, small tire, no prep, virgin concrete. Super cool, my type of drag strip, right? Saturday night, honky tonk type of spot. I love these type of venues. Tell us about it because we're fired up, bro.
So Abilene it's been shut down for, I want to say the last 7 years or so. It was a big index track and all that right off of I-20. For years and years and years, it just sat. The old man that owned it, he did a lot of bracket racing and stuff like that. And then Matt Tucker actually got a hold of it about a year and a half ago, and they've been putting a lot of money, and they built, I think they have the biggest burnout pad in North America at West Texas Abilene. So they had all the Aussies come over a couple months ago and do a big burnout competition, which was cool. And then the war, Freedom of War is $150,000 small tire race on a virgin surface. So the guys have been out there sandblasting, bead blasting the track, parking lots, all of that. It's a completely virgin surface. Small tire will go down first. Heard they had like 70 something cars locked in. But it's super cool. Matt and them giving back to the racers. I think it's 75,000 to win, like 25,000 to runner up. And it's broke down to like the semi or the quarterfinals or something like that. So even if you get down to 8 cars, you still make, I think, $7,000 or $6,000, something like that. So it's pretty cool to see the structure that they came out with on something that, I mean, it's been done before, but I feel like the whole street scene and all of that has disappeared over the last couple of years of the no prep, if you will, and they're going back to a true no prep.
Dude, I'm excited about it, and I think none of it would be possible without the guy on the screen right now, Matt Tucker. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Oh, man, good. How about you guys?
We can't complain. Tell us how you cook this, because I honestly thought maybe we had seen kind of, all of these things in drag racing, Matt, and Poland knows this. It kind of an ebb and flow, hill and valley. You never know. And we kind of saw a lot of the no prep stuff seemingly kind of going away. So now that you're providing like a big time opportunity for these guys, are you hoping to turn this into something where you're able to do this more and more, or maybe have more of these events when racers have the confidence to build a car or whatever, know that they're going to have a place to race it?
Absolutely. That's kind of our, point of this is, it's what I grew up in, and it's just something that I've enjoyed, and it's just dwindled away. So we felt like, what can we do to bring it back? No prep it was always huge, and it still can be huge, and it still is huge. So we felt like, hey, to do this, let's do it right. So let's throw the money at it. Let's see what we can get. And then we felt like, man, the success that it took off like the first 3 weeks that we published it, man, we've already got the second one in line for November, which will be a 200K race. So we're already prepping for next year, which I want to do a 1 million. So it's I'm trying to make this go insane.
Well,
So,
and Matt, and I'll explain what he's talking about, Wes. I kind of filled you in a little bit on this on the back lines, but Matt's plan is to do one in November and then have 5 races next year, Matt. Is that
Correct.
right? 5 races next year with a total of $1 million at stake. So essentially every race would pay 100 to 150, depending on how the math works on all of that. And then the points championship, from what I understand, you were trying to do like $250,000 or something like that for
so basically it'll be set up just like the Freedom Award. It'll be $150,000. The first 4 races, that's basically $600,000 we're giving away. The 5th race will open it up, unlimited car count, and it'll be for $400,000. All the winners from the first 4, which is in the second chance and in the primary, will get free entry into the final run in the 5th race.
Holy shit!
So yeah, it's trying to bring the no prep back around. And like, if you haven't seen the surface, go to West Texas Abilene Raceway, check out their Facebook page, any of their social media, and look at some of those videos. It's like legit walking out of your office right now, Wes, and just getting in a 2,000 horsepower race car and just sending it down the street. It's essentially the exact same thing.
Like, that is one of the things that we kind of saw with no prep Kings, is that, going to these tracks that were being raced on constantly and had like a significant rubber surface. How much do you think that is going to play into this? Because it feels to me like that's the ultimate leveler of the playing field, right? If you're going out there on fresh concrete, it's pretty well anybody's ball game. It's not going to necessarily be the guy with a twin turbo Proline Hemi that's out there running.
Well, that's the thing. The single turbo LS guys in a Fox body that, they may be only be able to go 5.0s or 490s. They legit have a shot here. They have a shot to win, or
that is the whole purpose of this. To me, there's 2 levels of no prep, right? There's ones like the no prep Kings, where it's constant rubber that's being put down, and it allows those cars to really run sometimes that are incredible. Well, I created more of the street style, to where now we got a leveling playing field that allows the guys that can't afford the $500,000 cars to come and play with the guys that have the $500,000 cars. They give them the same opportunity as those guys.
Because the $500,000 guys, they're chasing the money. They see 150K up as a payout, and they're like, "Yep, we're going. We'll figure it out one way or the other." And that, so you're because essentially combined in 2 different sides of the playing field.
Oh, I think holy moly. You talk about a fairly seismic announcement. You talk about this kind of purse money coming back into no prep racing. This is something that I think a lot of people thought, had gone the way of the dodo in a lot of ways. Matt, like what has made this? So tell us about like Abilene and how this whole thing came to be. Like, because as Poland was saying, in a time where we're kind of worried about some drag strips, and we've seen some places close or sell or what have you, be in disarray, I can't be more excited about talking to somebody who's pouring money into a facility, trying to improve it and grow it. What was the catalyst for you getting involved with the racetrack in Abilene or buying the place, and how have we gotten here?
Well, that's a good story, and it's a very good question. Years ago, I wanted to start something that's more like a street race, but in a pasture with just a concrete road and a few lights and flashlights start, and just let it rip, right? And in the DFW area where I live, the property is just so hard and so expensive and so limited. And then the constraints with the cities and everything else, it just started becoming impossible. So somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, have you thought about that track in Abilene?" I said, "No, didn't even know anything about it. Didn't even know it existed," right? And so they put me in touch with the guy that owned it, and I found out more that the track's been setting, and the owner didn't want to let it go to just anybody. He wanted it to be gone to somebody that was going to continue the racing in this town and support, that type of revenue and that entertainment. So it's just from that point on, I started talking to him, really getting to know him, and just really liked the track, what it had to offer. And, we put a lot of money into it to brought the facility up to a more modern time. We continue to put money into it to make it to where it's a nice facility. So when you show up, it's presentable. It's just like out there today. I mean, we're repainting all of the, the whole shutdown. We're painting all the starting line, putting our logos. We're painting all of the bathrooms again, replacing tiles. I mean, we want people come out, it's very presentable, very new, very fresh. It's kind of just a wow factor, right? And when we got into this racing, I wanted to keep it no prep. I wanted to do something that I feel like nobody is doing, which is sticking with what they say they're going to do. And that is, if they want no prep, they stick with no prep. Because when you start flipping back and forth, it really makes it tough to keep it one way or another. It's easier to go prep than it is no prep, and when it comes to a track. So, it's just, as we did it, we started putting events on, and we was like, what do we got to do to make this become an entertainment venue more than just a Friday, Saturday night test and tune, a few races here and there. So we just started putting some on just to learn a feel of how to operate and run this track. And then we got into, we felt like one day we wanted to open it up and go, man, we got to make this big. If we want to be the best, we got to shell out the money. And that's what we did. So that's where we are here today.
Check this place out, JT, Mike. Like, look at how good the venue looks. Like, I love those covered grandstands. The tower looks great. I mean, holy
Wes,
moly,
you gotta check out, like, I keep talking about the burnout pad because it's really cool. They poured this massive burnout, brand new pad, right? And then they put storage containers around it. So like you're viewing the burnout pad from inside these storage containers that are cut out all the way around the burnout pad.
I love it, man. No, I mean, the place looks absolutely fantastic, Matt. Like, you've got to be proud of this. And I'm so glad you're going to have this crown jewel moment to get to, introduce it to the world. And I'm glad it's sounding like we're going to have some Drag Illustrated team members on the property this weekend. Excited to help tell that story. I think this is, it's a big moment, man. So tell us about Poland. Hit us with some of who's their picks, right? I mean, who is the guys who are coming in that you think have the best? I mean, obviously with the Virgin Concrete, it's anybody's ball game. But who are the hitters that are on deck? I've heard the car count, like the pre-entries are 60 plus, 70 plus.
What are you at now, Matt? 70, 60-ish?
We're bouncing around between 70, 72. We had 80, but I mean, again, now we're getting to a point we're trying to verify cars. Yeah. So when people's not able to finish or they broke a couple weeks ago or, those things. But we're bouncing right around 70 right now.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the Ryan Mitchells are coming, always a killer on any surface you put him on. Billy the Kid, Billy Hoskinson's coming, Eric Manns, Kraken. I mean, Scott Taylor's on the list, Ryan Martin's on the list. Who else, Matt? Who else? Give me some names here. Yes. You got Waylon,
Jimmy
Waylon,
Jimmy Dillon,
Steph Joe's coming.
Yep.
TJ Head's coming. I mean, there's a lot of big hitters.
Yeah, and it's a mix. You got full blown, like you got true 10-5 cars that are going to be racing in like legit no prep trim, and you got I call them the street mutts. You know what I mean? They run around on backsides or streets, and that is what they do.
Man, I tell you what, dude, I think it's going to be one hell of a drag race. So I'm taking, give us the lay of the land as far as the schedule is concerned. I know part of this is celebrating America's 250th birthday. Let's go America, 250 coming up this weekend. But is this a 2-day Friday, Saturday type of deal? Give us the lay of the land.
So it is a 2-day event. So Friday night we'll run first round of Small Tower, first round of True Street, and then we'll run daily. We'll run Little Gangsters. We have, I think, 3 index classes we'll run, and we'll finish those all out Friday night. And then Saturday, we pick back up with all of our smaller classes throughout the day for the entertainment for the public. And then Friday night, we'll pick back up with the small tire, second chance, a small tire original round.
Off the trailer, Poland?
Yes. So the small tire is coming off the trailer on a complete. I mean, it's legit. There is not. Rubber is the furthest thing away from West Texas Abilene Raceway right now. It is on the other side of the highway. There's no rubber there. So yeah, small tire off the trailer, which will be really cool. And I like the aspect of Matt's running first round of True Street and small tire Friday night. Going to finish everything out. And then he's got True Street I know small tire's 10,000 to win.
Second
chance. And then True Street is 5 or?
I think it's 10,000.
Okay. So it's like, the second chance races got just as much money as everything else. So really cool aspect there. Then you got Fire Big. Matt does everything big.
Big.
It's just big. So I'm assuming the fireworks show at 9:00 will light up the whole city of Abilene. I don't know what else you could ask for there.
We are the only fireworks show in town too.
Oh, awesome. I mean, I tell you what, man, you talk about something that can move the needle for like your local fan base. A fireworks show is probably one of the best values you can have as far as like selling tickets. I'm curious, like, what has been the reaction? I know you're out of DFW, but has there been, like, do you feel, is this something the community of Abilene is excited about? Like, are local business owners excited about this? Is the community rallying around what you're doing? Before you
go on that, Wes, I was actually fixing to speak on that. The last race that they did at Abilene that I was at with this, they're kind of their trial run for this event, if you will. I called Jimmy Dale out. He wasn't actually there. And I told him, I'm like, dude, this is insane. Like, this place is packed. And it's like the car count wasn't that great, but there was not a single bleacher in the whole place on either side that didn't have an ass in it. And it was like, this is cool. All the community was there hanging out, buying merch. Like, it was super cool to see that because you don't see that a lot at some of these places.
No, I will tell you, the Abilene fan base has been great. It has really supported this track. The local businesses, the radio stations. I mean, everybody has been very supportive. It's kind of unreal in a sense. I mean, to have that kind of support, but it is a town of like 200,000. So, I'm sure it's a tight niche, community. Word gets around. As soon as we bought it, I mean, I didn't even have to advertise. People were just literally, messages. Hey, I heard you bought the track. When is it going to open? What's sort of the classes? What are you doing? Just steadily going. So it really has been a blessing to be a part of Abilene.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear that, man, because I think that those are the tracks that probably are the best position in our entire country, is the tracks that have that small, tight-knit community nearby that'll rally around what's going on. It's a big deal, man. I'm super excited for you guys. We're excited to help, grow this thing. And, you're right in our backyard, and we obviously love small tire drag racing and appreciate what you're doing, man, because for me, I think that this is important. It's important for these guys that no prep became. I mean, most everybody that you bumped into at the race hot rod shop or whatever, they were building a no prep car. And then it just felt like there was more and more of these races going away. So having this race base, know that they have a place they can race, know that they can have a place that they can count on holding events. I think it's a pretty positive deal for the sport as a whole.
Man, I do too. I mean, look at all the tracks that are closing. I mean, the events that are shutting down. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, you and I are pretty close to probably in the ballpark of the same age, and we've seen the highs of no prep. And now, like you said, it's just not there. I mean, you get 10, 15 cars, you're doing good in the small tire world. I know there's a couple events that I think they host that work pretty good, like War in the Woods, and I think that South, whatever it was, King of the South.
That's what I was going to say is that, Matt, I think some of it too is we got lost in the no prep. You know what I mean? A lot of the no prep got used as you just show up at a track and you don't prep it, you don't touch it. Well, with that rubber's still there and that stuff, the money's always going to win is what I'm saying in that aspect. And that's what happened to a lot of the no prep races, a lot of the other stuff. And now I feel like this is kind of going back to the roots, if you will, back to you're still professional off of the tree. Like it's how, how it needs to be.
No, I agree 100%. I mean, I feel like we're doing something that nobody's done. I mean, we're providing a surface that is an equalizer. It's not about a power. It's not about money. It's who can really make their car go down that surface. It's not,
Man,
they're
it
not
feels
a racer. They're racing the surface.
feels an awful lot like an industrial area at 3 a.m. And I think that's what we were going for, right? But I mean,
That is absolutely.
I think you're hitting the nail on the head, man. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. I encourage you guys, go check out Facebook, West Texas, Abilene Raceway, Freedom of War coming up this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Super fired up for this deal. Can't wait to see what's next. Matt, we hope to see you out there, brother. Best of luck. Poland, stay out of trouble. Keep Jimmy out of trouble. And we'll talk to you boys soon.
Wes, we appreciate you having us on, man. It's been a blessing. Thank you.
No, I'll holler at you later today.
Later.
Thanks, guys. Hey, boys, I want to take a quick second and remind you that each and every episode of the Wes Buck Show is made possible by way of Stroud Safety. 100% made in America, 100% built for racers. From drag chutes and seatbelts to fire suits and ballistic blankets, Stroud Safety has been the standard in racing safety equipment for decades. Tommy Cunningham and his team don't cut corners. They build gear that saves lives. If you're serious about safety, there's one call to make. Check them out at stroudsafety.com and make sure you tell them Wes sent you. Guys, JT, Mike. I'm actually pretty fired up for this Freedom of War deal.
Yeah, man, sounds awesome.
150,000 to win no prep race.
Huge.
This deal's, I think we could have done a whole show talking about how these crazy purses are going the way of the dodo, and boom, here comes, 150,000 to win no prep race. It's kind of a nice reminder that no matter what's happening in the sport of drag racing, we're going to find a way to keep racing, right? Things come, things go.
Cycles, man. It goes in cycles.
100%.
But how about, let's do one of our famous pendulum swings here and go from that to possibly the most opposite situation in drag racing that we could find. And the biggest story of the weekend by far. Tee it off, Wes.
Brother, I think that this may well be the biggest story so far of 2026. I think we've all kind of been feeling like we're watching this feel-good movie of the summer with this young lady's breakout moves here in the sport of drag racing. But to see it, and I want to say this again, we get this opportunity, Mike, and we got to take it. We called our shot. She was on the cover of Drag Illustrated over a year ago. We knew this moment was coming.
It works out every time.
Only a matter of time. Here she is in the winner's circle at the NHRA Summit Racing Equipment Nationals this past weekend in Norwalk. I think we've got the whole squad on here. Let's bring them all on. Team owner Ron Capps, who also found himself in the winner's circle, and the one and only Maddi Gordon.
Hello.
Round of applause. What's going on?
Yeah.
How are you?
Whole shit, man. I'm not as good as you guys. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. Today's been good. It's been a good day, but I don't know that I'm as good as either of you. I don't even know where to start. I mean, the first ever Top Fuel Funny Car double up for Ron Capps Motorsports. Maddi, I obviously want to talk to you about your first win, but being a father myself and kind of sensing how Ron's got to feel about this, Ron, I just got to ask. I mean, obviously you've had a tremendous amount of success already as a team owner, as a driver before that, but this had to feel like a real, holy shit, we did it. Like both my cars are in the winner's circle on Sunday at Norwalk. Like, holy moly, tell us about how this has to feel.
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting the win first. Actually, first we knew that Doug Gordon, her dad, had won.
Yeah.
So you're thinking the odds of something pretty awesome, like three of us winning, just went down a little bit, right? And my thing was, we could go from possibly doubling up. We're both in the final. It's already a great day. It's a great weekend. But we could go for everybody's talking about this double up and then being 0 for 2. And I've been around long enough, so have you guys, that was quite possible. I walked over to her car in the staging lanes, and she was less nervous than I was. I went over to give her advice and ask her if she was all right, and she was her typical self. And so I went back and put my boots on, and the guy strapped me in my car, and I thought, well, here we go. And usually funny cars are first, and they had dragsters up in front of us. So I thought maybe they're going to run them first. I don't know if that's good or bad for me. I had to sit in my car a lot in Gainesville several times while she was running and not actually stand behind the car. And that was hard to do. That test week, we stayed there, and then in Gainesville at the Gator Nationals. So I had all these emotions going. And then I got to run Beckman. It's his birthday. You're thinking, okay, well, there's a lot of uphill battles we're facing right here. And of course, we win the round. I'm down there doing the interview, and I'm just kind of standing there holding the Wally. And now looking at all the footage different people were posting, it's pretty fun to watch. But from the view we had and the cameras that Fox had down there, the small screens, the monitors, they were locked together. And I know Antron, he's great at the tree, so I knew that she had to be on her game. But they looked pretty close. And then we could hear, like you've been at the top end, you hear the car's already halfway to you, and then you hear the sound. So I didn't want to look at the drag strip, but I'm watching the monitor. I hear it, and then I see them locked together. And then as they pan, she just kind of pulls away, and it was like it just didn't seem real, and everybody lost it. Bill Bader was next to me; he lost it. It was a pretty cool moment. And she got down there, and I didn't know what to do. I was moving Antron's parachute, and then I just watched her run around like her head was cut off, like I did my first win, and it was fun. I was kind of just hovering above my body, watching this all go down. So it was a very strange, very, very cool, but very, very strange.
Yeah, it looked sure the reactions were, like you said, incredible, and all the different angles. I went back and watched it a few times, and it's just you almost are having like an out of body experience. Like you can't believe it at that moment, and then to be down at the top end, like you said, running funny car. And then for her to just pull around the corner and literally like pulls right up beside you, jumps out, and you're the first person there when she jumps out of the car to hug you, like that. You can't script that any better.
Yeah, what's
running
funny
in two different
is
classes like that.
When you're at that top end, the track is elevated a little bit. In the shutdown area, you can't see really the cars above the guardrails, and then it kind of slopes down and you take the turn. You can hear me on a couple of videos they posted today. I think NHRA put like the top end stuff. I could hear her screaming in the canopy before she even got pushed off with the four-wheeler. Somebody said, "Oh my God, is that her?" And I said, "Yep." You can already hear her. Like we didn't know we could see a wing, and then Antron kind of came pulling around, and I could hear her screaming before she even hit the release to open the canopy, before they even pulled her off the track.
Oh, Maddi, I've got to ask, so, I mean, obviously this was a wild day for you because you were like ticking a lot of boxes. Like, obviously we had the calamity in the first round, like against Spencer Massey, which has been much talked about now. I was going to ask, so take us through that. From what I've been able to gather, an airline blew off the car. Chuck Grosspitch, who we all know and love. I've known Chuck forever, right? Part of your team. Yes. He takes the oiler line off the supercharger blower oiler and replaces the airline with that. So you're like probably already about to junk a blower.
Yeah. So
right?
I didn't know until afterwards what he actually did to fix it. You can kind of see in the footage, I actually pointed to Joe Costello, and I pointed to him, and he like looks behind, and I'm like, "No, you." And he's like, and I'm like, "Ah." And then I point to my dad, and he's like, "No." And I'm like, no, you get my dad. And then so he's like, "Oh, okay." And he grabs my dad, and I knew my dad knew what was going on, and I had an idea what was going on. I was just hoping and praying that the fitting just, like the line just came out of the fitting. That obviously wasn't the case. So my dad told me, "Hey, basically, you blew an airline. And Chuck's trying to find somewhere else to get an airline." And so he was kind of keeping me updated. And then I knew people started kind of backing away, and I could see Chuck really finishing up, and the other car had already Spencer had already fired. So I knew we were getting close, and I'm like, okay, just stay cool. All you can do is your job, and that's it. So just, basically just don't screw this up. Everybody's worked so hard to get here. Just focus. And gosh, that was just hats off to Spencer too. I mean, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have this trophy because, he waited and he didn't have to do that. And so just hats off to him and the whole entire team for their sportsmanship.
I think that that's something I'm reminded of all the time. Like, sure, there's like moments, but this community is pretty special. And there's a lot of truly honorable competitors that exist out here that wouldn't want to win like that, So I think that I agree, but it was like the start to have that be the start of the day. So you get that round win. I mean, was there any point throughout the course of Sunday in Norwalk that you felt like after you got through that, like, okay, if we can handle that, we can handle the rest of these guys and gals? I mean, what was, you know what I mean? Like, did you feel like, was there any inkling in you that this might be the weekend? Did you feel any different this weekend? Anything that you can, identify that maybe you felt like this moment was coming?
I will say after getting past that first round, I was like, man, this next round's going to feel like qualifying. Like just after getting through that. And then, Chuck's like, don't speak too soon. You never know what could happen. But, I mean, that was just a big testament for the whole entire team and everybody just keeping their composure and just staying focused, not getting distracted. So that was just really cool. But honestly, it's just like something that we've all just dreamed of. Like I've laid in bed so many Saturday nights, just not sleeping, just dreaming about the moment of seeing that fourth win light of the day. And it's just something that we all wanted so bad that it almost just felt like impossible. Just, I don't want to say impossible, but just like too good, And then my dad was running so good. Ron was running so good. We were running so good. And I will say definitely getting that win against Sean Langdon was so huge for my confidence as a driver. Sean was a mentor to me in the beginning of the season because some questions that I had, Ron couldn't answer because they were really specific to Top Fuel. And Sean really just went out of his way to help me, and he signed my license, was there for every single pass in Gainesville. And he actually taught me some of the things that I used in that round against him.
So for those that don't know or haven't followed along or weren't maybe paying, this was a stated goal of yours, Maddi, that you wanted to win a pedal fest round. Like this was something that you wanted on your resume. I believe, and I don't mean to put words in Ron's mouth, but he kind of told you that time will come. You will have your opportunity to do that, but it did come this past weekend in Norwalk in the third round against Sean Langdon. Can you just kind of walk us through the second half of that run, or as soon as your foot came off the throttle, like realizing I'm in the heat of battle and now's that moment that I'm going to have to firewall this thing again?
Yeah, definitely. I think something that, I'm very, very fortunate is to have Rob and Troy because they give me confidence that the race car is going to go down the racetrack. So I really don't feel that I don't need to stress about, is the car going to go down? Is it not going to go down? They really, they thrive on going up and down the racetrack A to B. And that's something that I think has built my confidence a lot as a driver. So I haven't had very many opportunities to pedal the race car. Now right in front of us, obviously Antoine and Clay both go up in smoke and they're bopping and, banging and pedaling. And I'm like, oh boy. Okay. So, but still at that moment, I had full confidence in our race car and Rob and Troy did tell me, and that's always what I try to do is ask them, where are we pushing? Are we pushing early? Are we pushing late? Are we not really pushing this round? What should I be prepared for? So I knew that we were pushing later in the run. And so I knew if something was going to happen, it's going to be a little bit down track. And so, going up against Sean, Ron had talked to me a lot about pedaling because obviously I lost on a pedal fest against Leah and I was pretty bummed because I wanted to do perfect. But Ron reminds me I'm not going to be perfect right away. And I'm very thankful for that round against Leah because it taught me a lot. And Ron said, don't think about it. One of these times you're going to smoke the tires and your foot's just going to lift and it's just going to get back on it. I'm like, okay, but there's got to be something I can do. He's like, nothing. Just, you know what you're doing. You're just going to do it. I'm like, okay. And then so, I got there and right about the time that I should be, pulling, the car should be pulling harder. It just stops pulling just a little bit. And I can actually feel the back of the car raise up just a little bit because of that extra wheel speed it was getting. And then I just lifted, I just got back on it and it hooked up. And I was like, holy something. Oh my gosh. And I didn't see him. And man, this thing sounded like it was going to blow up though. It was just mean and nasty and just like screaming at me like lift. But Ron says, whatever you got to do to get to the finish line. And oh my gosh, when I saw that win light, it was just so cool to kind of be able to, I don't know, just feel like I had value for the team, like I was able to get done for the
you
team.
earned it. Yeah.
You earned that one. And I think that is, I would like to believe that every driver worth their salt, like wants that moment where they're walking back into the pit area or whatever, feeling like, hey, I got us one, right? Because I know I've been around Ron a lot and I know how he wins and loses as a team and it's not a finger pointing thing. I've seen it in action. Absolutely. But it's like, it's got to feel good as a driver, especially like a classic hired gun driver, to come in and be the difference maker on a round win. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you guys are going to save me sometimes, and maybe this time I got to save us. I mean, I that's got to be like the highlight of the week. Obviously, winning the race, beating Antron Brown, who's like, you know, a legend in his own right, a longtime friend of Ron. I mean, Ron, that had to be kind of weird, right? Because Antron, you know, you and him both went through this, leaving Don Schumacher, starting your own team, almost not simultaneously, but very close together. That had to be a little bit of a surreal factor to this whole thing as well, it being Antron in the other lane against your driver.
Yeah. And I told him at the other end, I said, it's one of those weird moments when we watch these movies where somebody travels time and they try to change history, right? And it's all, obviously it's not, it's fiction, but you change one little thing in time and it changes so many different things in the future, right? And it's sort of the same thing. And I told him in a shutdown area when he got out of his car and came over, I said, a lot of this probably and quite possibly couldn't have happened without the help that you gave me. And he was huge. He did what I did just a year or two ahead of me. He left Don Schumacher's. Mine was spur of the moment. But a lot of the things I went to him for things I didn't know what to do. I mean, forming a company, opening a business account. I mean, all the stuff I had to do, the insurance for a new team, all these things that he had just been down that road and asked somebody else about, obviously. And he really helped me out a lot. And so anyway, I just said that down there, and him and I are pretty tight. But the cool thing is he's one of the guys or girls that I approached going into the end of last season with knowing that we were going to put her in the car. We knew once we had the sponsor contracts lined up and signed, and the car, John Force, we bought the 2 cars that Austin Prock had driven that were sister cars to Brittany's. And actually they let us have her sit in Brittany's car in Brainerd of last year on Friday before qualifying, which I thought for sure with fans out there was going to stir up the rumor mill because you want to do that in the middle of a race weekend, but those guys over there were very cool about it. And it was a sister car to that car that Prock last drove. So we ended up with those cars. Chuck Grosspitch actually put those cars together when he was on that team. So a lot of things were sort of happening. And I went to Justin Ashley. I went to Grant, to Sean Langdon and to Antron. And they were all, whatever you need, whatever you want me to tell, show her. I mean, whatever we can do. Because I drove Top Fuel in 95 and 96. So it's been a while. And things are quite different. But I could not believe Sean Langdon had just gotten back from being over in Saudi Arabia, wherever he was at over the winter time. And he, at the test session and her getting her license, was there after every run she made. He was even, I think, before you ran him, Maddi, I was in the staging lanes for the semis. I look over and he's talking to you behind your tow vehicle before you guys are going to race. And we pulled up in our tow vehicle and I go, I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, he's got a racer, right? But I mean, everybody's been great. And this kind of goes to, Maddi, the Baddie, and all the nicknames that started the very first race that she had with all the fanfare. And I said no to getting anything done. I didn't want all this stuff going on, and she hadn't even won a race. She'd only won a couple rounds. But everybody's been so respectful. And I guess that's the point I'm trying to make, was everybody in Top Fuel has been unbelievable, knowing that she was going to come in and race against them. And look, she's beat. And I was cautioning her and everybody else when she beat Sean in Gainesville. She didn't beat Sean. Their car beat Sean's car, right? A lot of things happened. They smoked the tires. They obviously had a great car. She beat Tony Stewart a couple rounds already. She's had to race Tony a lot. That team beat that team. Maddi didn't beat Sean. Maddi didn't beat Tony Stewart. But we're trying to go down these obstacles and things that I did when I was a rookie, and I'm trying to navigate those with her. And it's a daily conversation her and I have. But the cool thing is, and I hate to talk like this with her right here, but like, I have only had to say things one time, almost every crucial thing that we've talked about with her licensing or driving or whatever it is. And boom, she's gone. I never see or hear of it again. She's perfect at executing all that stuff we talk about. So,
man, I tell you, like,
the other drivers have been unbelievable in Top Fuel.
About every major sports story, when you talk about like the greats in traditional stick and ball sports, there's a common thread, and it's coachability, right? People that are coachable, right? I mean, you hear that about the greatest athletes in the world, is that they were great students. They were eager to learn. They were receptive to criticism. They were, and I think that, Maddi, those are really, really strong words. You hit some for you to hear from Ron. But there was a quote that I heard you say, Ron, that I kind of want to talk about momentarily, because you touched on it. These are two cars that run as one. And I would love to hear you, because you were kind of towing up to that line, talking about how it's not, Maddi, it's not all you versus Sean. It's Rob Flynn. It's Troy. It's all these people, going to compete along with this machine against this other group of people. Ron, can you kind of just explain some of that thought process to us? And I have to believe this is rooted in experiences you've had in your past, where you're like, hey, when I move into this, when I have control, when my hands are at 10-2, I'm going to do it this way.
Yeah, and I would sit back. Look, I drove for Don Perdome, multi-car team, and obviously a legend, one of my heroes, and Don Schumacher, one of the best businessmen I've been around, and multi-team owner. 8 cars at one time we had, probably more with Pro Stock. So I saw a lot of things that I used to stand back and go, God, I don't know if I would have handled it like that, or I don't know if I would have came in and talked to a crew chief like that, and just took the good and the bad of everywhere I've been around and kept my mouth shut and tried to take mental notes, hoping I'd be a team owner someday. So it just sort of, listen, when we started this team, it was going to be Andretti caps. I was bringing Andretti Racing in. We were going to bring some of their partners in. I knew I wanted her as a driver, but I was working on trying to get everything planted, right? That would have been a huge deal to bring both the Andrettis and some of their partners in our sport and have funding. That fell through with all the F1 stuff. So then I was committed to her, right? And then as we went along, and after we made the announcement in Vegas that she was driving for us, we had to sort of wait. And it was just perfect timing that Carlisle Tools was being rebranded. And then they came and said, look, if you don't have a primary yet, we'd love to be a primary on that car. So with all that being said, in the meantime, I first went to Guido before any of this started. I said, look, if I start another team, I'd rather have it a dragster. He said, yep, me too. And he's been obviously a part of John Force Racing for a long time, multi-car team. That's where we met. He was under the same thought process I was. We don't want to race another funny car, but we do need, and because I'm still a single car team, and it's not like I've got huge budget and other bank accounts from other businesses like some of the team owners, we've got to get somebody that's not going to come in and say, all right, I want to order these cylinder heads, these blocks. This is all I know how to run. This is what I like. And these fuel pumps, we needed somebody that could run our stuff. And Guido's mentality and talk with Guido. And I've been around so many crew chiefs and multi-car teams that didn't get along, even though they played like they were nice. When it comes down to it, you want to beat this other crew chief more. So I've seen a lot of that stuff. Rob Flynn was
Antron was on a couple of weeks ago and said that same thing. We're talking about Antron, his experience with the multi-car teams and yours as well. That's something that he's trying to build if and when he does expand, that kind of operates the way you're describing versus some of his experiences in the past. So interesting to hear both of you guys, the similarities, kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the funny part is Rob Flynn was our pick from the beginning, and then Rick Ware hired him. And then we were like, okay, we had a list of people that came to us, some really good championship winning crew chiefs. And I won't mention some of the names because they're on other teams, but they approached us. And I thought that made me feel so good that somebody wanted to come to work for what they were seeing we were trying to build, even though we didn't have a sponsor. Right. So anyway, long story short, we're walking to the SEMA show for the big announcement. And Guido and I get a text from Rob that he's sitting on a plane. He just got let go. And I was like, you got to be kidding. It was like I looked up like God was saying, ta-da, here you go. Yeah. And I just told him, do not make a move. He's flying home. And I said, do not. Let me call you in a couple of days. And it's like it fell right back in. So him and Troy and that team, it's who we wanted. Chuck was icing on the cake. And it just worked out perfect. And, of course, the temperament of Rob and Troy and Guido, they've all worked. Guido with Ashley Force, with Brittany Force. He was there for a lot of that. And Rob worked with Jazz. And, of course, the first to go 300 with Selena. So his temperament and the way that him and Guido approach things, they talk, they're in each other's lounge. That was what we were looking for.
I mean, it really does. Like the deeper we go, the more of a storybook deal this whole thing is. Maddi, like what, 10 races into your career, you're holding on to a 75th anniversary NHRA Diamond Wally, which people
and
are
an
hot
ice cream
after.
scoop.
And an ice cream scoop.
Yeah.
Ron's got more of them than anybody in drag racing
No,
right now.
I don't. I gave my first
in
one
funny
to
car.
Tobler, and I had to give this one to Guido. And Bader does not make any more. He doesn't make two of them. You can't go buy one. So I don't have one. So now we got to win next year so I can get one.
Yeah, you got to get one to hang on. But you do have 3 Diamond Wallies to your credit so far this year. So you're stacking them sons of bitches up.
And creeping up on that 1,000.
Look at how excited he was about the Diamond Wallies versus the ice cream scooper. He's like, yeah, I got Wallies, but the ice cream scooper.
Yeah, those are rare. And you're creeping up. We actually just had Elon Warner on a couple of weeks ago as well, and we were talking about the 1,000 round win deal that he's put together. And of course, since that's happened, everyone's turned their attention to who's next in line, who's closest to the 1,000 round wins. It's you, Ron, and we were kind of doing the math of how long it might take. But if you keep on this path like you did this past weekend, you're going to get there sooner than later. So that's another. You kind of got all this stuff, the Hall of Fame announcements, all this stuff. Kind of, it's like a lot of great things happening all at once here.
Yeah, crazy. But you couldn't dream or script. I talked about the Hot Wheels car and winning with Snake and the whole thing in Indy, and that was, you just couldn't have scripted that. This was right there with it. This was like a moment. You couldn't. It's crazy. It happened. I don't feel like it's even real.
I want to get both of your opinions on this because I find it interesting. Like a lot of times, fresh faces, Brian Lone said something to me one time that it's always stuck to me. And he goes, drag racers, man, they eat their young. And there's some real truth to that. Like the young, fresh faces in our sport are not always like welcomed in with open arms, right? I mean, there's a little bit of an old guard here. There's something of a club or a fraternity that exists. And I mean, I've seen it at play. And I think we all know that it kind of exists in, wherever you fit in the whole clique or community of pro level drag racing. But I'm just curious your guys' reaction to what I think is one of the biggest breakout stars that our sport has seen. I don't even know, Ron, I would ask you if you could identify anybody that's not tied. I mean, obviously Brittany Force, Ashley Force, Courtney Force, but they had that, and I'm not trying to take any credit away from them because they definitely deserve it, but they had that pedestal of their father and this iconic figure in the sport, and they could kind of, that was certainly a help, right? But here comes like those of us that are hardcore and have followed Top Alcohol. Like we've been watching you for a hot minute, Maddi. We know your pops. Like we've been on this for a while. But to see someone come in and break through, I don't know that I've ever seen anything quite like this. I mean, like the fan reaction at the first race in Gainesville.
There's numbers to back it up too.
The fan reaction this past weekend in Norwalk. Yeah. She goes through the finish line and the wind light comes on and the place goes bananas. What do you like? I mean, I'll go to you first, Ron. Like, have you ever seen anything like this? Do you feel the same way that I'm feeling? Like this feels unique.
Yeah. The Force girls for sure had that feel. But yeah, this is different. And it's crazy. We had somebody, I don't know how true it is, but somebody in the merchandise area with NHRA and Legends and Nitro Mall said they haven't seen sales close to John Force's. Yeah, Maddi. Yeah, we were told this in a long time, 20-something years.
That's the info.
Yeah,
we got that info as well.
Gosh.
Yeah, we know. We've got the little kiosk we sell.
I got goosebumps.
Yeah,
me too.
My daughter sells stuff out of our kiosk, and it's been fun to bring stuff out and it just flies off the shelf with Maddi. But no, I haven't. I don't. Yeah, I'm like you, Wes. I don't think I've seen anything like this. It's hilarious because Maddi and I sort of have an inside joke that I had a lot of people very vocal to me last year questioning me putting a 21-year-old little blonde girl in a top fuel dragster that are now calling me a genius, like literally phone calls. And it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like it was accidental. You know what I mean? Like, but I didn't expect this big of a deal. I knew she'd be great at being a driver. I knew she'd be great. She reminds me a lot of Blaine Johnson and myself growing up. And that was and I knew that part would be fine. I knew as soon as people got to know her, like we all known her. But it's fun. It was fun last year to go in the alcohol pits. Jim and Annie Whiteley and all the people, Jay Payne and all the people I know in the alcohol pits. They were all so happy. It's like I was taking somebody from there that didn't have to bring $1 million for a ride, and somebody they loved, and I was taking them out of this pit area and taking them up, and they were in good hands. If people just kept telling me how proud they were that one of their own were coming up with me, where I was a crew guy in the alcohol pits for years, and they're all so happy to see me doing well. And so that's the key, keeping level head, and which she and her family do. And to your point a few minutes ago, there's so many shit talking drivers that come out and have one bit of success in nitro classes. And you got to remember, I came up when there was Al Hoffman, there was Chuck Etchell. So I knew my place, and I went and apologized if I over celebrated beating them. I would go to the pit area and apologize for over celebrating them. And I was very respectful, and you have to your point again, you've got to know your place. And I think that's also what's made this unique with her. She knows her place.
Well, and I'll share with you guys just real quick while we've been on the call. I'll just share my email here. Everybody can see it. I just got this notification from Josh Hatchett at the NHRA. Hello, everyone. I wanted to pass along our ratings from Sunday's Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals from Norwalk, which aired on Fox following the World Cup. Fox's Sunday NHRA coverage of the Summit Racing Equipment NHRA Nationals averaged 1.46 million viewers, which is the 6th most viewed event in NHRA history. The peak audience was 2.745 million viewers, and the overall broadcast was up 118% over last year. And look at the photo they stuck in there. And I mean, you got to figure that they are attributing some level of that success, Ron and Maddi, to you two. I mean, Maddi, we've talked to you about this before, but I'm going to give it to you again. Like, experiencing this and knowing what you've come from, and like going and tearing up funny car stuff. And I know that it wasn't like a total walk in the park, driving anything at that level, let alone a top alcohol funny car. That's a tall order for anybody. But to be here now, selling shirts on par with John Force Racing, like having this kind of cultural breakthrough, can you even, I mean, I don't even know, you're like the new Undertaker or something. You're like drag racing's Hulk Hogan.
It's hard to even wrap my head around. It's just like, I saw a video and I actually reposted, a fan posted, and they were right about where our cars would take off, and they had a video of us going down track, and then the fans' reaction when we turned the wind line on. I mean, everybody was on their feet. They were screaming, they were clapping. Like I'm like shaking. Like it's just so, it means so much to me. It really does, because something that I really cherish is from the very beginning, Carlisle and Napa never wanted me to get media trained. They said, nope, leave her the way she is. Don't tell her what to do. Don't tell her how to talk. As Ron says, we're going to wind her up and let her go. Like, you know, I get to come out here and live a dream. I mean, race a top-fuel dragster, the highest, best, fastest race cars in our sport, and represent a tool company, which I've been using for a year and a half, been using their tools. I've been using tools since I was born. And it's like, I get to come out here, race cars, tell stories about racing race cars, what happened in the car, use tools, and represent a tool company. Like life doesn't get any better than that. And I just, you know, when I get out of the car, I like to tell a story. I like to tell you what happened in the car. I like to just vomit of the mouth. Like, I felt like I had a heart attack round one because of the stress. Like, 22-year-olds can have heart attacks, I guess, you know, just like it's just the fan interaction and the support from the fans is something that I never could have imagined. It blows me away every single time. Everybody is so positive and so supportive. And they love, you know, they love my excitement and my smile and my love for the sport. And I can't imagine any other way. Like I could not imagine getting out of a race car and not having a smile on my face. Like even if we lose. I hate losing. Losing sucks. Like we go to these races to win. That's what we want to do. We want to be successful. But at the end of the day, you still get to race a race car for a living. You just drove 300 something miles an hour. The day ain't that bad. Like,
I think it's like drag racing. I try to remind this sometimes because I get it. I know we all take this very seriously or whatever, but drag racing is something that we get to do. You know what I mean? Like this is, I think about the world at any given time, especially today, and how blessed we are that our problems are like the left lane shitty. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I can't believe it. The left lane's not as good as and I get it. I totally understand it. And I don't mean to make light of those type of battles, but I think it's important for you. And I encourage you not to be here life coaching you, Maddi, but like, don't let go of that, because I think that gratitude and that excitement, I tell people, like any business consulting stuff I do, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. And I think that authenticity that you have and that energy and excitement and enthusiasm, like it's easy for Carlisle to want to support that, right? To be a part of that. It's infectious. And I think that we've seen the whole sport get Maddi mania, right? Because I mean, and the proof's in the numbers. Ron, do you have any, like, did you ever feel during your career, like, I'm going to air out you were my favorite driver, Ron. So I saw you race in
Napa,
right?
Okay,
it's Napa, man. Both of our dads have Napa Auto Care Centers.
That's probably what it is.
That helped from the start.
Ron, do you remember going to Eddyville Raceway Park in like 1993 with the Copenhagen car? Okay, that's when I first saw you race. I went to
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay. I was a little kid. That was our hometown track. It wasn't. I lived about 70 miles south in Missouri, but that was the track we raced at every weekend. Eddyville Raceway Park in Oskaloosa, Iowa, and they booked you in and for the Night of Fire. Out there, their 4th of July deal. And that was when I was first exposed to Ron Capps. And I got to tell you, you were fucking cool as the day is long. Like you had the look, the glasses. I don't know if you remember, that's when you guys did the shoe polish on the front wheels.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So the wheels were white, or whatever. And it's just the ultimate in badassery. Right. Yeah. Did you ever have a moment where you kind of felt like you made it, or you like broke through, or like now I'm somebody in this space?
I mean, the first time we went to my test session, I'm riding with Dom Perdome in a rental car. And I'm like, this is bizarre for me. Like I'm riding with a guy that I played with Hot Wheels and his cars and built his models, and just, I had everything Dom Perdome in my room. So I'm with him. We went to SEMA. We drove out to the Vegas track that was going to be built. And Mario Andretti and I think Bobby Unser were in the car with us. And I'm like, what is happening in my life? So yeah, a lot of those moments. I mean, winning the first race for Snake, but to be strapped in that Copenhagen funny car and have Roland Leong start in it and look over, and Don Perdome's over there with his toothpick standing behind it, and I'm like, I'm driving for these guys. I had several of those moments that you want to call all your friends you grew up with and go, my God, you guys won't believe what we're doing right now. So yeah, a lot of them. And I had people around me that would keep me grounded, that we talked about a little minute ago, and Snake was good about it. Roland Leong was great. I had Ed McCulloch. I had all these great legends that were all great racers and heroes of all of ours, because that's the way they were. And so they were very good about teaching me how to be that way, and not to be like some of these drivers that come up and make one good run and they're up there talking a bunch of crap. So that I was very lucky to have people like that around me.
Maddi, do you feel like your upbringing, like you've been given a lot of trust, is what I hear when you tell me that Napa and Carlisle weren't interested in having you media trained? To me, what the message there is, they trust you, right? With trust comes pressure, right? Like what is, as you move forward and through this, and obviously you've had this breakthrough moment and we're seeing, all the good things are happening, but are you kind of like, does that put any sort of weight on you? Or are you carrying that with you, the trust and responsibility that's been placed on your shoulders? Because I think there's a lot of us that are looking at you like potentially the new face of professional drag racing. I know that comes with a lot of pressure.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know who said it. It was somebody way smarter than me said it, but I think pressure is a privilege. And I've always felt that way. And I feel a massive sense of, pride that Carlisle and Napa believed in me to be their driver, represent their company. I mean, they're rebranding this tool company, and they wanted me to be the face of it. And I had never even hit the gas before. I had never been in a dragster with a blower on it. I had never drove anything with nitro, and we're running around with me as their top fuel driver. And I'm like, man, like this is crazy. Like, this is awesome. But holy moly, can I even do this? And honestly, it was Ron's trust in me that gave me the confidence to get in that race car, because I mean, it was just so much, and so much more than I ever expected. Like, I'm getting strapped in the car in Gainesville for the first test session, and there's like 13 media people around with cameras everywhere, and they're running around trying to get the best angle. And I'm like, oh, okay, just stay. I mean, I had never had anything like that ever. And but you know, my family, I've watched my dad race alcohol funding cars since I was born. I went to my first race at 8 days old. And although he was never in professional drag racing, he won world championships. My sister and I were part of the team when that happened. I just always admired the way that he kind of held himself. He might win a race, but he would come back home and he's just Doug Gordon. He's just regular Doug Gordon, the guy that, you know, runs Morbid cabinets and just back to work, back to normal. And I just always admired how humble he is, and just how he always held himself with his fans and sponsors, and just regular life. And I'm just so grateful for my family and my support system behind me, because, you know, this opportunity, when Ron approached my dad, this changed my life. I mean, we hired somebody new to replace me at my job before we signed contracts. Like, I mean, we had talked about it. We announced it like I was the driver, but we hadn't had like a officially signed. Now we had full confidence in Ron, and he did everything he said he was going to do times 10. So, you know, we hired someone new to replace me, and of course contracts came and everything worked out perfect. But you know, this changed my life in every single way except for where I live. And I'm just so grateful, and I take this very seriously, because this is my job and it's what I love. It's what I live for. It's truly what I live for. But I have so much fun with it. And if you take it too seriously, at least if I take it too seriously, I'm going to get in my own head, and I'm not going to be a good driver. So every morning I wake up just absolutely blessed, and do my best in everything, or try my best in everything that I do to be the best that I can, but also enjoy the experience.
Oh, well, we are sure enjoying watching it. Ron, last thing for both of you guys. I appreciate your generosity with your time here this afternoon. But I'm just, one thing that I think, and this is a JT, you know, I don't know where JT's at. He's here somewhere. But one of the things that we feel have hindered the sport of drag racing is the lack of like true hired gun drivers. Like, we need people, we need the dream to be alive, right? For someone to go crew on a car and go race with their dad and hope that one day they can do a good enough job and work their way up and be somebody. But we've kind of seen drag racing, and specifically high level professional drag racing, arrive at a point where it's kind of like, if you don't come with a big check, if you don't come with a big sponsor, it's a lot of rent to rent. And I'm not knocking that, right? It's just the reality of our sport and the economics of our sport right now. But Ron, did you take special pride or special satisfaction in like bringing up somebody basically through the ranks that had gone about it? You know, because that, to me, I hear, I'm sure you deal with it too. Like, I have young guys and gals come up to me and like, I want to become a professional drag racer. And most of the time, the advice I have for them is like, well, stop drag racing and go start a business so that here in 10 or 15 years, you can afford to go drag race. Right. And I hate that, because other sports have that organic growth opportunity, the opportunity to be the best at what you do and ultimately find yourself in a position like Maddi finds herself in today. Did you go in to this second car thing going, I want to provide someone the opportunity that was provided to me?
No, it had come up a couple times. You know, Catherine Wooten, who's been in charge of motorsports at Napa, sort of came. She was there. It came from Coca-Cola about the time that I was asked when I left Don Schumacher's if they could be the primary in my car as a team owner. So she's kind of been around, and we've talked here and there at dinners and big events at headquarters, and you know, you guys know as well as I do, this last decade, maybe for sure last half a decade, the social media has really made a turn with female mechanics, female, what do you call them? You know, the social media people.
Influencers, yeah.
Yeah, influencers working on cars, doing things behind the scenes, and a lot of. So I figured, you know, part of my brain was like, okay, this will be a breath of fresh air, and I don't have to worry about her in the car specifically. But the amount of people that came, and dads of drivers that are out there right now, and people that came even after I announced that she was the driver, I would get these people out of the blue come up and say, hey, you got a minute later, or talk to Guido and ask for time with Guido. And I had to tell so many people, and a lot of these drivers are out there right now driving either their own car or somebody else's. And I said, I have a driver. I apologize, but I have somebody already, and I'm building the team around that. Nobody would believe me. They didn't understand, which sounded far-fetched, of course, but I knew she would be marketable if it got to that point, and it would help a different angle, especially when the Andretti thing fell through. When I talked to Michael Andretti, we had a few meetings at Andretti Global, and they had a girl driving their Formula E IndyCar program, and they were going to F1, and they were very, very excited about when I showed them Maddi and some clips from Maddi as well. So it was there. It's just I didn't think there was ever going to be a negative part of that, and I knew that in the landscape of our world right now, like you said, it's everywhere, right? Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR. I knew I was hired that way, and I sort of thought this would be perfect. And to be honest with you, if this fell through, I was going to be okay sitting out 1 year. And I thought she would even be able to drive a funny car if I had put her in my car for a year to get something. I didn't want to, but I was committed to it at that point. So I guess with all that being said, Catherine, when her ears popped up the first time that I showed her Maddi at a track, well before we announced it, before it was for real, and I told her, this is who I'm looking at. She got pretty excited. She only comes to 3 or 4 races a year, but then I told her to go over to their pit area, I think Vegas. And I said, don't walk over with your stuff on, your Napa stuff, but walk over and stand behind the trailer and just watch her and her sister work on the car. Because basically they service it and build it.
Yeah.
Along with Christina, their mom. But I said, just watch what goes on. And she came back over and she said, done. We're gonna get you funding. Like, she was excited about it. And then I showed her clips of her welding and doing all that stuff, which now we all have, right? The world has kind of sort of seen it, which I already knew. So it just kind of came together. But I knew it. I felt it. Great people around us. We brought in Ted Yerzik to handle her program. Was perfect timing. An old friend of mine, and we just have had great people in the 5 years we've had my company, Ron Capps Motorsports, that have all just made this so easy on me, and I still can't believe
amazing.
It. Yeah,
Maddi, did this scenario that you're living in now, had this ever crossed your mind as something that was even possible?
Oh, absolutely not.
Okay.
No, never even crossed my mind as a shot. And even when Ron specifically came to my dad in Seattle of 2024 on Friday, my parents have told me about it, and they told me when I was riding our beta motorcycle, and I seriously was like, you guys decided to tell me this when I'm riding a motorcycle? I am going to wreck, and this will all go away. Like, oh my gosh. And so, you know, I remember we sat in the hotel room that night, and we just stayed up for hours and hours and hours thinking, like, this will change my life. Like, this is life-changing. And
by the way, the ironic part of that is I talked to her dad because I wanted to get her and her grandfather's okay. I crashed. I had a big, huge explosion on Sunday. So we were out early, and we were leaving for the airport. We already had our talk, you know, and then I did not want Doug to say anything until the weekend was over. I didn't want her to be distracted. And lo and behold, we blow up. I'm heading to the airport. We're going out the gate, and we got the radio on to listen to the fuel final, and she was running the final. And we stopped at the gate, Paul Mecca, our team manager, and I went, holy cow, she's in the final? Had no idea what it was about to come. This is after we talked. And she went on to win that, and in doing so became, obviously she's on the cover of your magazine, but the 100th woman to win in NHRA, which I had no idea that was even on the cusp until that happened. And there were several other women that could have won that day in other categories. But that all fell two days after I had already talked to them. So it wasn't like some things that happened, and then I was like, oh, who's this girl? And I went over and tried to hire her. So anyway,
it's amazing. I mean, you called your shot. I mean,
early.
and it's,
yeah.
I tell you what,
no
friends, if you don't believe in God, you need to go back and watch this last half hour of our conversation. And because there's clearly something very special happening here. Maddi, Ron, we got to cut you guys loose. Thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. We cannot wait to see what comes next. Maddi the Baddie, Maddi Mania. Thanks to our dear friend, Ronnie Caps. We can't tell you guys thanks enough. Stay out of trouble, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, guys.
See you guys.
Congrats. All right, guys, let's take a quick second here and remind you all that each and every episode of the Wes Buck Show is made possible by way of Redline synthetic oil, formulated to win, proven by you. Since 1979, Redline has been protecting engines from 11,000 horsepower nitro motors to 50cc motorcycles. Ty Tutterow, Steve Torrance, Callie Mills, Spencer Hyde, Scott Palmer, Tommy Franklin, champions and contenders who trust Redline to get it done. Check the full lineup at redlineoil.com. When you know. Mike, JT, I could have talked to Maddi and Ron for 12 hours, but I'm glad somebody's keeping us on task here because we've got more and more and more big guests today. This is exciting.
Yeah, man. Let's get
Yeah,
to
it is. That's great. That's a great interview.
Next step we got here.
Yeah, let's. I guess before we get any further along, let me take a second, introduce everybody. We got two longtime friends of ours, the reigning defending Drag Illustrated World Winter Series champion, Peter Norton, and new teammate and fresh-faced Pro Mod driver, Paige Coughlin. What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
Oh, I like that DI 30 under 30 in the background, Paige. Good work. Oh, that's exactly right. Uh-oh, can she not hear us? She can't hear us. Paige can't hear us. Drop her off real quick. She types fast. She types like I type. JT. Text with Paige. Peter, what's going on, man? You've had a hell of a start into 2026, and you've kept it going. Been bouncing around a little bit, doing the IHRA Pro Mod series. We saw you partner up, bring Paige Coughlin into the fold, and that's really what I want to talk about is just the expanding Hurricane Motorsports operation. We saw the debut of the combo at the Shakedown at M-Town a few months ago. At US 131, I think Paige did a fantastic job. I mean, your operation is growing. I mean, kind of take us through your mindset here and where you see this headed, Peter.
Well, we just kind of a quick start to it. Troy and I talked a little bit, kind of got hooked up through Proline a little bit through Eric Dillard. And he had said that, Paige was interested in driving a Pro Mod, and we happened to have a second car and just thought maybe it was a good fit. So we talked a little bit and said, hey, they were wanting to run possibly the Triple Crown and maybe new Pro Mod Mania. And so said, hey, we'll get this car ready. And, they kind of came on and we put the yellow stripes on, the Jag stickers on, and Paige and Johnny and Beaver all came to the shop and got her in a seat. And we just decided we're going to go on to Shakedown. And, just told her she was going to go up there and knock it dead. And she was awesome from then on.
You absolutely did, Paige. Can you hear us now?
Yes, you're all good now.
Okay, the golden child is here. I was saying when you came on, I love seeing that Drag Illustrated 30 under 30 in the background. You were one of our proud members of the club. I'm just curious, Paige, we saw you rise to drag racing prominence, right? Like with Street Outlaws, No Prep Kings. We got to know you well during that show, but unfortunately, like the timing of it, you burst onto the scene unfortunately, as like things were starting to change. And I think there were a bunch of us that were really excited to see you kind of come up in that environment while it was hot. but you had to pivot. And I knew that there were some rumblings like, hey, Paige was interested in Pro Mod. This is kind of the direction she wants to go. I've been beating on you for a while to come run with us at the World Series of Pro Mod. So here we are today. It's finally happening. I'm just curious. Can you kind of just give us a little bit of, how this thing came to be and how you're feeling about this? I mean, you're clearly right at home behind the wheel of that hot rod.
Oh, well, thank you. And honestly, it was just like a dream come true. When I got behind the wheel of my third gen Camaro Golden Child, it was just, I was so ecstatic, so nervous, excited. Like the whole thing was insane. And getting to experience some parts of the Street Outlaws No Prep Kings was just fabulous. I loved racing with all those guys. They really taught me how to be like tough. You have to grow an extra layer of skin when it comes to that kind of racing. And I definitely did learn that. And I believe that has really set me up to drive a pro modified car to the best of my ability, along with the guidance of my family members and my dad especially. But when this thing came about, we were actually at my now husband Johnny's his birthday dinner, and my dad was kind of talking about it, and like this whole I'm like, oh my gosh, I might cry at the damn dinner table. And because, I feel like I've always wanted to drive a pro modified car. I've always wanted to be like my dad. He's a 3-time world champion in NHRA Pro Mod. And that's just something that ran through my veins. I've been wanting to do this forever. And just when the opportunity came up, I didn't think it was real. I thought he was joking with me at first. And I was like, this is cruel. But no, he was serious. And we gathered all of our stuff up. We busted ass up to Indiana. And like Peter just said, we were pouring the seats and getting everything ready, putting the yellow stripes on the car. And we were trying to match up this Camaro with TJ's Pro Stock car. Because I'm like, we ought to match,
Yeah.
And it just, gosh, that first full pass that we made was just absolutely insane. Like the feeling of just going that fast in something that's different than my third gen Camaro was nuts. And then when I was telling them about how fast I had actually been in the third gen, they were like, oh yeah, okay, like that's cool. And I'm like, okay. And then we bested it in like one run, and I'm like, okay. And then we bested it 3 or 4 more times, and I'm like,
you ended up, I think, setting the Midwest record.
Yeah, I got my little check over here in my office.
Yeah.
Displayed it. But,
I got the picture
no,
right here.
insane.
This is
Yeah,
the picture.
It's hanging on my wall. You can't see it. It's over here. There she is.
Yeah,
But got
I
all my
remember. I was like,
pictures.
holy shit! I remember writing the headline, and I'm like, Paige Coughlin sets record, and I'm like, wow, that happened fast. Like, okay, like we were just talking about her debut. Like you scroll down 4 inches on the page, and there's Paige makes debut, Paige sets world record or whatever. I'm like, holy moly, this is happening fast. For me, I think this is great because Peter, I've gotten to know you over the course of the last year or so, and obviously am very like a big fan, a big believer in what you're doing things the right way, getting the right people involved. A world-class human being. I got to know your wife this winter. To see this happening is really special. I've obviously known the Coughlins for 20 plus years now. And, Troy has always been great to me. And I knew that I was hoping this moment would come when I would see Paige following in her father's footsteps, going pro mod racing. And I knew there was like Paige is kind of the golden child. She may also be like the bad apple. She was like the one that she went the other direction. They wanted to race pro stock and wanted to race Top Fuel and be in the big NHRA show. Paige has got some outlaw in her blood. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's got some badass in her blood. And she told me that early on, like, I'm kind of going a different direction. I want to do something different. Her dad told me the same thing. Paige is more interested in this other stuff. And I was hoping that it would bring Jegs with them. I mean, Peter, for you, like, obviously this has happened really fast. You went from like, hey, I'm in the stands watching a race to, hey, I'm buying a pro mod, to, hey, I'm winning a world championship in the most competitive pro mod racing on the planet Earth. Now I'm expanding to a 2-car operation with Jegs on the quarter panel. I mean, what is this? I mean, this seems to have happened fast for you too, Peter.
It is. And, I think, obviously Ricky Jones directing a lot of this, we just thought it'd be good to have a 2-car team. And we had talked to a few other people about it a little bit. And, just thought, once we talked to Troy and knew that she could come on board, I think that it was going to be a good fit. And it definitely has. She's exceeded our expectations by all means. And it's been really good.
And I got to ask, Peter, what the hell is going on behind you? You've got like 77 race cars back there.
You never know.
Yeah.
All
So
kinds of stuff.
what is that? The Nova? What's way down to the left or to my
here?
left? Yeah. Yeah.
Here. No, so I bought Jay Cox's Pro Mod, and we've ran it the last couple races.
Okay.
This is my original car that we run the World Series. This is Jangling. Plays Jangling, yeah.
Oh my goodness. Got him stacked like firewood.
And actually Paige's car isn't even here. It's up at PBRC. This is good about Paige. She knows exactly what she wants. Typical woman.
Oh yeah.
So she's like, comes
like
back, we're gonna change these little things. And so every race we've come back and kind of fine tune stuff. And I think it's great that she has such a feel for the car. It's like it's blown my mind how much she knows about the car and the feels for things she wants. And we just make it every time we make a little correction, it makes it better and she gets better. And so just a couple little minor things or pedals or whatever we're fixing for just to make sure that she's comfortable. I want to make sure she has the best experience that she can. So she's doing an awesome job.
Well, I think that's important because I see plenty of people pour themselves into these cars, whether they fit in it or not, because they want to drive it so bad. Like they've got this opportunity and they're like, well, my elbows are hitting the passenger side door and my head's hitting the roll cage and my knees are in the steering wheel, but I'm going to drive this son of a bitch. And it's like, I love to see this type of approach happening. I'm curious, like, obviously we're seeing a lot of movement in the space. We had the NHRA announce canceling a couple of their races. There's a lot of things up in the air. What does the rest of 2026 look like for Hurricane Motorsports, Paige and Peter? Like, what is your guys' game plan here as we sit, or do you know?
Well, I think we've talked about it a little bit today. I think that, we want to, obviously whatever NHRA has left, hopefully that we'll be able to continue to run those. I think we're looking to probably go to the Midwest race at Martin here at the end of July. And then we've got, just a handful of things. We might go to, Flying H or something like that, Midwest, maybe hit a PDRA at Bristol, something like that. I think just collectively we'll just take it one race at a time and see how, what their schedule like, what my schedule's like.
Exactly.
And just kind of go from there. And there's a really big race here in Indianapolis. I'm going to try and go race Labor Day weekend if at all possible. So
I like to hear that. I like to hear that. Paige, does this feel like, is this part of the trajectory that you were planning? Is this where you want to be moving forward, racing Pro Mod, like at a high level? Like, is this this has been the goal, I know, but I guess I just want to hear you say it.
This is my dream. And honestly, it was reminding me of just how Maddi Gordon was talking about how she felt getting behind the wheel of that Top Fuel car. This is my version. This is my dream. Like, I just can't believe we're actually doing something like this to this caliber. And I'm so thankful to be able to do it, not only with Team Hurricane Motorsports and Peter Norton, and also Ricky Jones and his whole family. They're just such a blast to be around and to learn from them as well. But also my dad, my husband Johnny, and Justin Beaver. Just that's my group, you know what I mean? And we are still building our steel roof and steel quarter car. My other tuner, Mike Reese, he's been building that. That's just been straight him. But yeah, it is steel roof, steel quarter. So we have the Outlaw Street class with the NHRA. We have those 4 events this year. And hopefully we'll have that one done by Brainerd, which is our next event for that. But the Pro Mod, it just makes me smile. The sounds of those cars, the feeling that you get, even just warming it up on the jack stands, just getting to do those burnouts, seeing the types of racers that you're competing against. Like, yeah, I've gotten to compete against Murder Nova and Ryan and Lutz and Kayla, and obviously it was an honor racing against Lizzie and all them, but just seeing these guys competing with some of them my dad competed against, some of them have just been making a name for themselves across a couple of different series, PDRA, IHRA, NHRA, wherever. Just everybody's kind of coming together recently this summer, and it's just such an honor to be competing with all these people. And geez, they give me a run for my money. But I want to keep going. Any chance that I have to get behind the wheel of this race car, I'm going to take it, whether it's doing a couple of those, the remaining IHRA events, some Midwest, some PDRA, whatever it is. If we're all on the same page for it, let's go. You don't have to twist my arm to get me to drive at a Pro Mod event. My answer will always be yes.
No, there has been a tremendous amount of racing. Like, that's one of the things that I think that there's so much racing that's been going on that it is undoubtedly it's something that has concerned me throughout 2026 is it's like we're only a few years removed from there being, you know, a dozen or 20 maybe pro mod races on the schedule to fast forward to now there's, you know, nearly 40, right? And no matter how you cut it, pro mod drag racers are a finite resource, right? I mean, and it's you're asking people to race week after week after week after week. You got guys making hundreds of runs in the first half of the year when they're used to making 100 runs over the course of a couple seasons. It's definitely there's a little bit of a transitional period I feel that's happening because this may be like a little bit of pain that pro mod has to feel before we break through to that next level, in my opinion, because we're about to, it's going to be really interesting, like what the rest of this year and next holds for this particular style of brand of drag racing, in my opinion. You know, I am excited to hear, you know, talking about NHRA a little bit though.
Yeah. I mean, I think that Outlaw Street deal is really cool. And, you know, that same Labor Day weekend, we should be racing there as well. So we might be in different cars, but we'll still be kind of together, which will be fun. I'm super excited to see Peter kind of try that out and go quarter mile racing. I mean, that's all I knew before jumping into the street outlaw stuff. So it's a different feeling and maybe one day get to experience it myself in a pro modified car. But it's exciting to see everybody get together and just support drag racing in general, no matter what series it is.
I agree. Peter, what do you make of, you mentioned Ricky Jones. I don't think Ricky gets enough credit. I mean, just as the impact that he's already made in pro modified. I mean, for those of us that have been around, Ricky was on the cover of the magazine back when he was running pro stock with his dad. And, you know, we saw him go through, you know, rise through the ranks as a crew chief and tuner. And now he's kind of like a consultant or crew chief for hire, obviously working with the pro line camp, working specifically with you guys. But I'm just curious, like, I'm a big believer in Ricky and Ricky Jones. Like I've seen them refine programs and provide an instant difference upon arrival. And I'm just curious, like you've done a lot of racing in this year, but a lot of motorsports in the past. Can you just kind of give us your take on the difference makers that those guys have been for your program?
Well, that's the thing with Ricky. You get Rick as well. You know, Rick comes to all the races as well, and which is awesome. I mean, Ricky, you know, kind of took me under his wing, me being new, never drag raced before. And like I've told you this before, going into the winter series. And I mean, the success we had was largely in part due to, you know, what he provided here. And, you know, I just knew from the get-go I need to, you know, lock him down or make sure that he's going to be here long term. And we are. And, you know, he spends time at the shop and, you know, he helps from your mental status at the race. He helps with the driving. He's done all that. He's fantastic with the car. He's an awesome tuner. He's an awesome guy. I mean, the way he kind of, you know, keeps all the crew guys in line. We have a really good, you know, merging Paige's crew with our crew. Everybody just gets along fantastic. And we just all want to win at the end of the day. And he wants to win as much as I do, as much as Paige does. And I mean, he just has a way about him just to, you know, get you on top. And it's awesome. And I don't know how to thank him enough over a period of time. And I, you know, thank him every day that we're around for all the things he's done for my program. And we've only been doing this for 8 months basically. And I feel like we've been doing it for 8 years. I mean, we've got a lot of things we want to do. We won the, you know, going back, won the winter series, then went to our first NHRA race and won an Ironman right off the get go. And it's just been, I mean, it's been knocking them down and we've got a lot to learn. We've kind of, you know, we've got a couple different cars and we've not won any more races since then, but we're making some changes for our long term. I think we're looking out for what's the next year's entail instead of looking to the next race on some of this stuff. And, you know, Ricky's got a million good ideas and wants to try some different things. And we stick, you know, the pro line stuff keeps us in a direction. And we definitely, you know, love having pro line as a partner with us. And that goes with, you know, Hearts and M&M and some of these guys. And, you know, all this stuff we're going to have to kind of jam together to be able to run at Indy here in, you know, whatever that is, 9 weeks, 8 weeks, whatever it is. And so, you know,
isn't it crazy that we're even talking about Indy?
Yeah.
I'm like, stop.
And so when I told Ricky that's what I wanted to do, I was like, I want to go run Indy. It's here. It's where we're from. It's like, you know, we've been up there testing a few times. It's like, let's do it. And so he's pretty pumped up now. And, you know, I think you know, you just can't, he's a once in a lifetime person that you get to come across, in my opinion, as far as drag racing goes or any motorsport. I've never experienced somebody to be a leader or you know, a mentor in a sport, especially at his age.
No, I couldn't agree more. It's, but I will say, like, talking about merging the crews, like watching you guys on the live streams and stuff, Paige, it's been so cool to see your dad and like the guys that I've seen you race with since day one, whether it was in a super comp dragster or the, you know, the IROC or whatever. It's like the same group. And it's so cool to see you out racing together as a family. I guess, I mean, I think it's cool to see you in that environment and see your dad embracing it, because, you know, your dad's operated inside that NHRA circle since basically day one. And I can tell that I think he's kind of enjoying this outlaw lifestyle a little bit.
Oh, most definitely. He loves every aspect of it. And when the IHRA stuff came up and he was like, that's interesting, and kind of taking an interest to it. I mean, what's not to like? Everything is close to our shop for the most part.
Yeah.
The payouts are great, and there's just the opportunity to just keep racing, especially when the street outlaw stuff was dying down. And we wanted to give the outlaw street stuff a chance and try that because we still had the IROC, and we were still planning to build that other car, and we still are almost done. It just went to paint, actually. I'm so excited. But he absolutely loves it. And we try all the time to get him into some kind of car. Like, only honestly Johnny has been successful. He got him to run or make a lap in South Georgia in his little Fox body that he ran the 7.0 in. And it was so awesome. But we're like, Dad, come on, you could get into Nostalgia Pro stock. I mean, we still have all the parts and pieces. We could literally just put this together. And he's like, yeah, it is really cool, but it's just as cool, if not cooler, getting to see you do it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, sure. Like, it is cool, but like, I don't know. It just having my dad drive too one day would be really neat. And I mean, he's just gonna get tired of me asking, and one day he's just gonna.
Oh, he'll agree to do it one of these days, and he's got to be blown away seeing how far Pro Mod has come. Like, I remember going to the NHRA races and like half the cars wrecked, the other half oiled the track down. You know what I mean? One was back flipping through the finish line. I mean, it was just a calamity. And, you know, to see, and it was kind of like an afterthought. Pro Mod wasn't near the marquee attraction that it is today. And it's like, to see how far this particular brand of drag racing has come, it's got to be cool for Troy. I mean, he was one of the guys, you know?
Yeah, Wes, I've offered. I said I'll pour a seat for you. Just come get in, go test with us or something. And I think every time I ask him about it, he thinks about it a little bit.
Oh, well, he could do it.
I think the more we go racing, the closer he's going to get to getting in that car.
Yeah, we're working on it. Johnny's the one that'll just sweet talk him. And Dad, if you're listening, I'm so sorry.
I hope he does.
One day, we're gonna get him. But I think like his era of Pro Modified, that's what really drew us to the outlaw style of racing as well. It's just like watching him kind of go through those last couple of years. Those cars were chaotic. They were insane. It was nuts. And people might not have fully understood or appreciated the class just yet because it was still on the rise. But like, that's instantly what drew us to Street Outlaws, was that same kind of feeling. And my dad's like, we just need to change it up. Let's try something different. And I was like, okay, yeah, sign me up. I have no idea what I'm doing. And then we get into the car and I'm like, holy smokes, everything he says is finally starting to make sense now. And just, it's nuts. It's just nuts listening to hear him talk about the racing, watching him still talk to the drivers that he competed against and their kids. And especially like an example would be like Mike Bowman and his daughters. They're getting into racing. Like, we've really connected over that. And it was fun racing with the Bowman family, and the girls are kicking ass. But just it's just stuff like that. You get a sense of family and seeing how these drivers have kind of carried through the Pro Modified class, especially in the NHRA, seeing how much has progressed, seeing the new faces, seeing the older faces. It's nuts, especially the ETs and mile per hour is just insane. And I'm like, can we make it faster? Can we put nitrous on these cars, please?
Dude, I got to tell you, I mean, that's been my big takeaway from this summer so far, has just been how many really good cars there are right now.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
like,
It's so tough.
It's nasty out there right now.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh, is unreal. It reminds me of bracket racing at this point, where it's like you have to be 00, and I mean, for us, 00 dead on. And when we were, for an example, when we were between Milan and then Columbus, I'm seeing everybody's reaction times, and I was a little slower than I'd like to admit. And I say, I'm just getting used to it. Okay, don't judge me. But I'm seeing these 00s, and I'm like, oh my gosh, are we at like a heads up bracket race or something? Because it's just the competition is unreal. Everybody needs to be on point. We need to be running low 60s, high 50s. We need to be able to do it in all different kinds of weather, track conditions, you name it. We need to be able to do it. And that's been one of the most beautiful things working with Ricky Jones is he's been able to do it. He's just like, here you go. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is nuts. And just
it is insane because literally if you go back to like at the height of NHRA Pro Mod, if you go to 2010, I would bet the best light in the first round was a 90. You know what I mean? That's literally how far it's come, and whereas Pro Mod was, if you were 60, 70, you were going on. You know what I'm saying? You're winning this round. And to think about it now, keeping track of the reaction times like we do across the board, the cars are better, the drivers are better, and the level of competition that we're seeing right now, specifically in Pro Mod, but I would argue in a lot of professional drag racing, it's never been higher, man. And it's just, we were excited to talk to you guys because I think this is a great thing for the sport of drag racing, specifically door slammer racing, to see the Coughlin legacy live on in outlaw 8th mile competition. We can't wait to see what comes next. So it's looking like Midwest Drag Racing Series in Martin.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
That's that IHRA, PDRA, whatever this winter.
Yeah,
There
winner.
might be a black and yellow car there. You just never know.
Well, hey, that sounds really good to me. Peter, Paige,
4 years.
it's been 4 years I've been beating on you to come be a part of the magic that is the World Series Pro Mod. So here we are. I'm excited. Well, guys, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us this afternoon. Peter, let's talk soon. Paige, stay in touch and be safe and good luck out there. All right.
Thank you so much. We
Appreciate
appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Talk soon.
See ya.
All right, guys, let me take a quick second and remind you that each and every episode of the Wes Buck Show is made possible by our friends at Strange Engineering. For more than 50 years, Strange has been a household name amongst racers and crew chiefs, creating hardcore racing and performance street driveline and suspension components that flat out get the job done. Rear ends, axles, brakes, struts, shocks. If it's under the car and it matters, Strange has you covered. Don't just race Strange. Learn more at strangeengineering.net. JT, Mike, my goodness, we've covered a lot of ground. We've gone no prep racing. We've talked to NHRA, Top Fuel, Funny Car, with some legacy legends. Talked a little bit about Don Prudhomme and Don Schumacher, and then we rounded out with some Outlaw Pro Mod rising stars. Pretty crazy.
We did. We took a trip around the world.
We did take pretty much around the world, man.
But some similarities there with Ron Capps and Maddi and with Peter Norton. It's just kind of like melding together these different walks of life and kind of bringing new faces into Pro Mod or into nitro racing in the case of Maddi, and both having success.
Pretty incredible, man. I can't that news that Maddi outsold John Force Racing in merch, that's like big news.
Yeah.
Like hearing that is insane, because I think we all can like stand around on the outside and go, oh, Maddi's really becoming a star, right? But that type of metric proves it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like this isn't just a feeling we're having.
Yeah, you're seeing it carry all the way around. Like Ron was talking about the respect from the teams, and we saw it early on, kind of embracing this. She's kind of got it, this one little path where she's not facing as much of the blowback as we've seen from some of these other people that have tried to make their way in, especially for a young female. You think about, of course, you go back to Shirley Muldowney back in the days and the things she had to go through, but even more recent times, the Erica Enders, Leo Pruitt, all the things that we've seen these young women go through, and it does seem like things have changed, at least, maybe like Ron was talking about, social media influencers, marketing, sponsors, kind of embracing that type of role. It does seem like the tide has turned a lot in the last 10, 15 years as far as young women breaking into the sport.
I just think the fact that she's a hired gun driver, I mean, JT and I have had this conversation literally 50,000 times, is that it's like the people who end up in these, the people that end up in these cars more often than not are the people who have the financial wherewithal to write a check that makes that happen. Mm-hmm. Right. And to know the story here and know that, Maddi Gordon's parents told her like, hey, we're not we're not footing the bill for your nitro deal. We can't foot the bill for your, for you to chase your nitro dreams. Right. But still see it materialize. I just think that is,
and see Ron still forge ahead, even though the Andretti deal fell apart, and he was kind of like putting it together, whether he had a sponsor or not. And he was even going to sit out a year, which I think is kind of what we see. Yeah, that's what we've seen. Bob Tasca do with Austin Prock. You know, I think maybe those two situations are a little different, but ideally you'd have enough funding for both those guys to be in the seat. So,
but this is what our sport
a ton
needs.
Of credit for that.
It needs the talented drivers with the star power behind the wheel. Like that's what we need.
It's in a good spot right now. Like I was a little bit worried, you know, when John Force exiting and Brittany
exiting.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, you know, you got Austin Prock here. You got Antron Brown, who's great. You know, Maddi and Ron.
Matt Hagan.
Yeah, Matt Hagan. I mean, it's in a really freaking good spot right now. Tony Stewart, you know, I mean, like wow.
Leah Pruitt. I mean, we've got some real star power.
We really do.
In drag racing right now.
Yep.
And it's probably not something that gets talked about enough, you know, but I think maybe it needed some of these fresh faces to kind of just remind us like, hey, there's some magic happening here, you know? And I just,
you got Lyle coming up into Pro Mod, you know, in NHRA. I mean, NHRA is in a really good spot right now.
I couldn't agree more, man. There's a ton of stuff to talk about, but we're out of time, boys. I want to give a huge shout out to everybody that supports the show, everybody that tunes in every week, all of our guests, Matt Tucker, Michael Pollan, Ron Capps, Maddie Gordon, Peter Norton, Paige Coughlin. Hell of a show today. Appreciate all you guys tuning in and helping us champion the sport of drag racing and spread the good word about what I believe to be the great American motorsport. We'll see you next Wednesday right here on the Drag Illustrated YouTube channel.
I don't know. Me and JT were talking. I think you're
it's my turn.
MIA. Your turn. It's your turn.
My turn.
So, yeah.
It's my probably going to be sick. So,
yeah, I don't know. Me and JT would have to start working now to put together a good show for next week. We've done it.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to do a little bit of Q&A, but I've got a meeting coming up, so we got to bounce. But there's so much to talk about. I mean, we got this IHRA stuff, drag racing mayhem. To be honest, I think the licensing system is a joke. I tell you what, man, I've got a whole rant. I can give about a 45-minute take on the licensing process.
Cover that up.
So let's.
How about we just do a PSA? America 250, go America.
Boom.
Enjoy your July 4th. Come back to the show next week with 10 fingers.
Yeah.
Preferably. Let's have everyone be safe and enjoy the holiday weekend. Go USA tonight too in the World Cup, man.
That's right.
A lot of national pride going on right now.
Bro, I've got World Cup fever. I've watched more soccer in the last 2 weeks than I have in my entire life.
Me too.
I haven't
Sports
turned
betting
it on.
will do that.
Turned it on,
Sports betting will have you watching some shit you've never watched before, but it has been interesting.
It really has been. I don't know shit about soccer.
I'm gonna watch tonight. Yeah, I know. My son played soccer. He's really good at it. And I'm going to the games, and I'm like, I have no fucking clue what is going on. You know, the rules and why is
offside? Why is everything offsides? It's like when somebody does something awesome, they're offsides. Come on, that's a.
And he's like really good at it. And I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna get into this. You know,
I think they should do away with if you took offsides out of soccer, it'd be such a better sport. The score would be like 32-28, but it would be way more interesting to watch.
They just need to get the NFL involved in that. They'll make sure that there's a lot of scoring.
Yeah.
The NFL will make sure. Get Roger Goodell over there.
Well, and then like sometimes the games like they just keep playing. Like the refs like
this is big, the ball a little bit smaller, you know, no goalies.
No goalies.
Yeah, they don't stop. The clock is like very abstract. Like they're just like, we roughly think there's this much time.
Whose idea was counting up? Right? I mean, I just don't like everything in the world. I mean, we launch spaceships and we count down, right? You know what I mean? It's like you count down. I need the time to go down. How much is left? I'm sitting here watching like, how much is left? I think there's 15 minutes left. Holy shit. then they go past the 90-minute mark.
Yeah, just by
and then I'm
random
super
number
confused
that they think they should add.
And I'm like, is anybody going to notify the players that they're still playing? Like, or is this normal?
Yeah.
But
somebody keep blow the whistle.
Just keep playing.
Just keep playing until they tell you to stop, I guess. But it has been fun to watch, man.
How about the people coming over from Europe?
That's what I want to talk about.
Oh, okay. That's
how
where you're going?
Badass is this? Like when I see soccer fans, I see I wish, like, that's what I want for drag racing. You know what I mean? Like, I want people blowing horns and doing chants and waving flags. Like, I just love the ownership they take, and like people flying over here from all over the world. Like, what a proud moment for the United States of America. It feels like we're told to be feeling shitty all the time. Like, I'm walking around with my chest puffed out. Like, all these people are coming here, having the time of their lives, becoming influencers on TikTok because of the gas stations they stop at in America.
And
like,
ranch dressing and the portions of our food.
I mean, they said that a lot of these people have been told how bad it is here, and then they get here and they're like, "This is awesome." You're like, no,
dude,
no shit.
America,
everybody's
rocks.
so nice. Yeah, don't forget that. And they don't have.
I think it's
they
a
don't
big
have.
reminder.
And I don't
They
know
don't
if
have high level
did we talk
drag
about it a
racing
couple
in
weeks
any of
ago.
these other places either.
That UFC fight was absolutely awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I mean, wow. And every fight ended in a knockout. I mean, that was just, I mean, it
The
was wild.
flyover and the fireworks.
Yeah.
Like, I watched that whole deal, and I was like almost in tears.
I was about to sign up for the Navy.
You know what I mean? Like, me
You
too.
know, like,
I was like,
yeah.
shit, I think I'm just going to join the Navy. I think I'm in, you know, like, I just was so like, that is a masterfully produced event. Like,
Yeah,
I think that may have one of the greatest live events that I have ever seen ever. And I mean, I know that it's likely that they will never do anything like that ever again, but I hope they do something.
Dana White said, hell no.
Yeah. Supposedly they spent $60 million putting that.
You
together.
know they made that back.
Oh,
you know
they
they
had
made
to.
it. You know they made it. Come on.
Well, their
Dana.
deal from Paramount was like $7 billion, right? So their streaming
that
deal,
put a dent in it.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, I think we're good, man. I think we can do a couple more UFCs on the White House lawn if we need to. But we'll talk more about this next week or whenever is convenient. Guys, thank you all so much for joining us. Huge shout out to all of our guests and all of our show partners. Can't do it without them. Blake, appreciate you on the ones and twos, and we'll see you next week.
Later, y'all.
2 weeks.